We're now going to move to the item short film. This is Arbury. Just a very quick introduction from Martin Campbell, principal here at North Cambridge Academy. Martin.
Thank you. Thanks very much. My name is Martin Campbell. I'm the principal here. I'm privileged, I feel, to be a principal here. I think the perception of this particular institution has, for a number of years, been poor, and I hope that this school is a representation, really, of the direction of travel that we are moving here. I think when you come back, and I hope you do, in October or November or whenever the next meeting is, the whole of the front will be demolished. There'll be a road, and probably easier for you to get here than it was from the car park. But there will be a road off Arbury, and there will be a lovely frontage here, and I think that will be a fantastic opportunity to show the community that I think that this school is on the up. Together with the buildings, we also have managed to secure a number of projects through 106 money and through Cambridge City Council. We've revamped the gym. You are very welcome after this meeting to go and see the new gym at the back of the school. We've managed to get quite a considerable sum to make 4 new tennis courts, and planning permission has gone in for that. And we're in the process also of trying to get those floodlit. I think that we are in a very strong position to go forward from here, and I think the film you're just about to see is really an example of what we try and do. The young people who made this film are not here tonight. We invited them. We have sent taxis round, but the nature of some of the children that we do have to educate here means that we need to look for every method possible to create success. I think, and I'm sure that in 3 or 4 years' time, these young people will look back at this film and perhaps say that this was the beginning of their success. We received Jane Rich from Cambridge Community Arts came and saw me and said, we do have some funding for a film. We chose about 4 or 5 students to do this, and they made a film about their community. I will take questions after. The filmmaker is going to press the button. If you wish questions after, then that's absolutely fine. So without further ado, let's crack on.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to join you in the audience, so to speak.
People coming tonight, I was going to all set up their own, and I said, I know, I said, I'll show them in front of me, it's all right.
I'm Martin Campbell, I'm the principal in North Cambridge Academy. I like there's a sense of community here, that people are, and there is a strong sense of community, and that people are, they feel a sense of togetherness. Well, that's one thing. The second thing is that I do believe that this community is in the centre, but doesn't really utilise it, but is in the centre of a world-class city. A third thing is I do genuinely, although sometimes it's hard, and I don't show it that much, I do genuinely like the children. Apart from all. No, I do genuinely.
Yeah, I'm Jack Jesson. I am the pupil achievement worker at North Cambridge Academy. So what that involves is, on a day-to-day basis, I tend to work with students who are at risk of permanent exclusion, and also students that aren't in full mainstream lessons for whatever reason. I also do quite a lot of aspiration raising as well as part of my job and careers and things like that. I really like the togetherness of the school, with it only being a really small school. I feel that it operates, communication is quite good within the school, and it's quite easy to find people generally because it's only a small school, and in terms of that, working with the students, I get to know quite a lot of faces just because there's not as many of them, which is quite nice. I call a lot of our students rough diamonds. I think they just need a bit of polishing sometimes. And I think deep down they're all good kids, they just need a bit of guidance sometimes.
The name of this shop is Les Ward's, and my name is Carol Simpson. Les Ward's shop sells fruit and veg, we do flowers, which is floristry, we do food work and nice arrangements for birthdays and all sorts of things. In Arbury Court, because I've been working here for a long time, I know lots of people, and everybody comes in sometimes just for a chat. They do come and buy some things, but yeah, it's a friendly sort of place really.
My name is Alan Sarr. I manage the Arbury Community Centre, which is where we're sat today. Although I was a volunteer for 7 years before I started as manager, I used to be chair of the trustees. And I've lived in Arbury just about 30 years now. Well, King's Heath, if you want to be a politician, I don't care. It's just that sort of community spirit. I mean, one of the best comments I ever had was from a person who came to visit here. Not an event I was putting on, but came and we were talking. And one of the comments this person came over was they'd never seen so much community spirit in an area for a long time. So there's loads of other things around that, but it's just that, and it isn't even where you live. It's sort of like you're part of it. You don't feel like you're walking around. It's just there all the time. The people, they're an amazing group. I mean, there's such a mix and so many issues around life in general. But they're sort of really sort of gritty, earthy people that we don't speak with crummy accents, but we get on with it. And I just think there's that sort of earthiness about people. I think they're marvellous. I love that.
So my name's Dylan Carter, and this shop's called the Arbury. So I've been working here about on and off for 10 years, since I was 15. The shop's been here for about as long as Arbury Court has. I think it's probably since 1960. There's people from quite a lot of cultures. You've got a Sikh Gurdwara over there, you've got a church, there's a community centre just across the road.
I would like to change that precinct out there, the Arbury square there, I think all that needs softening up. I think it could be nicer. I think it could be a greater sense of community in the middle of that. I think that I would like for Arbury and King's Hedges to start to believe that Cambridge is their city, and I don't know what else. I don't give it a rest through things. I don't know what else through.
Sometimes we have people begging, and there are some drinkers, but not a great deal, not as many as there used to be.
Very upset about this sort of label people want to put on. Oh, the Arbury, there's always problems up there. And it's really people want to blame us. They can take the blame off themselves. So you get that town and gown. And a lot of people get really uptight about that town and gown thing. I take the view, don't get angry, get even. So work with people. So we've now got a situation where can we go on? And how work in this area. We're the nearest neighbours. We don't mind who we talk to.
I wouldn't say it'd be too many negatives. It's quite a quiet area. A bit about it, to be honest. Just a little bit run down. So if we done up a little bit. So maybe a little market or something that we put during the week for the mothers to meet up with. Maybe a little cafe.
I think there's quite a lot of negativity around the area, and I think it's quite, and there's a lot of negative stigma on there, and I think that as a school, I think it's really important that we address that and try and make students aware and raise aspirations that actually, they can achieve something with themselves, and I think this is part of it, that, them coming here and working with all the equipment and shows them a different side of something they have not experienced before, and actually it just goes to show that, with hard work and with a drive to achieve something, then that's certainly something you can do and be whatever they set out to be.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
It's a wonderful bill. But is this still a mixed school?
A mixed school of what, boys and girls?
Yes.
Okay, the preamble to this was that we chose particular individuals, and Jack said, who could potentially be children who will end up in permanent exclusion.
Oh, right.
And therefore, this was about trying to create models of success whereby they felt part of the community, so perhaps they didn't behave in certain ways in their community. That was the nature of it. But yes, of course, in fact, it's a 50-50 split.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pleased to know the success is absolutely wonderful, but it does give a very strange impression. My first question, I've lived here for 40 years, was going to be, oh, are you only boys now?
Another question, I think. Yeah, at the back there.
Hi, my name's Doug White. I was a pupil here for the last 2.5 years, and I left at 16. I would like to say that I think I'm a success, and I think most of the things that I've heard recently in the last 6 months from my local councillors, they're doing a splendid job in supporting this, and I think that you are doing a splendid job. And the film was extremely well presented, and I imagine it took a long, long time to present in that way. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, we'll wait for the microphone.
So as I understand it, many of the facilities here are supposed to be open to the public as a condition of the funding, for example, the tennis courts. So how is that being advertised to the public? And I have asked about that access and I've had no response yet, so I'd like to know.
Well, there is a full community programme here, should you wish. In terms of the gymnasium, they have different classes. We've only just set that up. It's only been open, I think, 4 weeks or something like that. When we get the frontage supported here, the application for the tennis courts does have, of course, community funding in it. We will advertise as much as we can to get as many people here. The fact that this is free, we're offering tea and coffee, I want you here as much as possible, is perhaps representational of the fact that this is a community school.
Okay, so a question from Councillor Perry. Sorry, someone else from the public. Later.
Thank you very much. Yes, run a school. I came over here from abroad, back from Libya. My children came to my school. My son is now 50 years of age, and believe me, he is doing so well, and I do accompany. The school is fantastic, and I would always give it a good name. Thank you.
I think we do have to remember that the school is only made up of the children, and I work here, not because I'm some kind of moral mission, but actually because there are some fantastic children here who will do extremely well.
Yes, I'm Peter Wetherell. I'm a friend of Arbury Library, and I was a bit disappointed to notice that Arbury Library wasn't featured in the film.
Yeah.
Because I think you do actually have a connection now, don't you? The school and the Arbury.
We have a strong connection. If you walk around the school, you will not see a library.
That's the point I was going to make.
Yeah.
You no longer have a library in the school, but you do use the library across the way, the Arbury Library, I think on a Wednesday. So.
No, we use it almost every day. Okay. That is our library. We pay and have a license and users agreement with them. There are children that go for their library lessons in that community, and actually the footfall, there will be a publication that's coming quite. The footfall is greater in that library and has increased more than any other library in Cambridgeshire and a lot of libraries throughout the country. We use that library all the time. It's a complete no-brainer. Why are we building a library here when a library is across the road?
Okay, Councillor Perry, the question?
As we know, arts projects are, as we know, the arts and art and design projects are gradually dropping off the curriculum in terms of importance. They're not on the EBAC, which, if you don't know what the EBAC is, it's the English Baccalaureate, which is the important subjects that people have to be examined, and you have to do those exams. Art and design subjects aren't on there, but what would you say about the importance of art and design subjects in raising aspirations in Arbury and King's Hedges, and also in the importance of art and design projects amongst particularly poorer students in Cambridge?
Okay, I think if you read the Cambridge Evening News yesterday, you would see on page 5, I think, we have a huge spread whereby we have worked with Kettle's Yard, and upstairs, and I would very much like to show you during the break. I'll open the room up for you. We have now an artist in residence upstairs from Kettle's Yard, and that project will last until Christmas, and we've transformed a room upstairs. We're doing a project called Motion Tracks, and it is absolutely fantastic what's been created in this room. So the whole of this week is an arts week where the resident artist, and they're going out into the community, they're wearing earphones, they're picking, they're taking pictures, making film, and I think that again is representational of the fact that it's about ways of celebrating success. And if we only go down the route of the EBAC or traditional subjects or subjects which perhaps carry more weight than others, I think we're missing a whole world of learning. A world of learning in the creativity of art, photography. We've established a photography room upstairs as well as the art room and 2 other art studios. And I think the sporting arena as well. We can't forget that, for me, one of the most important things that we've got to teach children, and children perhaps from more disadvantaged background than others, is resilience. Resilience in everything. Resilience in academic studies, resilience in the creative, resilience in sport, and it's that creation of resilience which perhaps then impacts on the fact that they will rewrite essays, they will try and make things better, they will rewrite a letter 5 times, as many of us do. So I think that's, and I think the whole essence of a broad and balanced curriculum is absolutely essential. We are totally committed to it here.
Thank you. Just to say, it's the second time I've met some of the pupils, well, I haven't met them, but seen the film tonight. But about 18 months ago, I came to the school, and the children who were in the same predicament had problems and that, and they did a play. And I had to get involved, didn't I? And they were fantastic. And to see this film tonight, I think is great as well. It just shows that the kids can do these things. They just need that extra bit of push and confidence. And doing this sort of thing really helps. And I think Beth and Toby do a fantastic job as well. Thank you for that as well.
I mean, you know, that is not just Kettle's Yard, it's things like this. Is they came to us, and we embrace these kind of projects, and not only for children like this, also for very high able and high ability children. It just so happened that you watched that. Next time, we're going to get loads of girls and high ability students to do it. Okay, thank you. Thanks very much.
Okay.
I'm aware that Cambridge County Council have a problem with the recruitment and retention of teachers. Is that a problem here, and if not, why not?
I have one position which I am unable to fill right now. Other than that, we are full with our complement of teachers. I believe there is a crisis in the profession, not just in Cambridge. I think, yes, it is more challenging perhaps to live in Cambridge if you're a young teacher, with the price we all know of housing. But I think it's not only a question of recruitment, it's a question of retention. We have to keep good people in the profession. The reason that I think that we particularly And I didn't really want to make a great big massive deal out of this, but I do think we particularly are not having issues. It's because I work for an organisation called the CMAT, Cambridge Meridian Academies Trust, and that trust, who now have Swavesey here, school in Peterborough, Neam Park, school in Stamford and Saltrey, we very much together try and utilise and create career progression for teachers, meaning they'll stay within the trust. So that's one way that we try and retain teachers. Because you've only got a vacancy if the teacher's moving on because they've had enough or there's a promotion. And we need to create that career track within CMAT, and that's what we're trying to do. Not as successful, I mean, we're getting there.
Okay, thanks again. So another question. I'll just summarise a little point myself. As I've lived in Arbury, dare I say it, since 1960, on and off. But it is a great place to live in and to represent on the council as well. And I would mention one thing that wasn't in the film, but it's very much related to the work of the Arbury Community Centre, and that's the Arbury Carnival. And that is a fantastic event. It's not actually listed in the community events on the agenda tonight, but it's this weekend on Town Park in Camp Ken Road from 11 o'clock in the morning. And I would welcome anyone who hasn't been before to come along. But it's a tremendous community event. There's a fantastic spirit around it, and to some extent it does sum up what the people of Arbury are about. So I highly recommend it.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks again.
Thanks.
Okay.